And now on Marcus Paul in the Morning, Senator Malcolm Roberts.
All right, welcome back. 22 minutes to 8. That is, of course, New South Wales Daylight Saving Time. Time to catch up with One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts. Happy New Year, Malcolm.
Happy New Year to you, Marcus, and thank you very much.
You're welcome. Did you get a break at all?
I took some time off between Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
All right, mate. Yeah, good on you.
How about you?
Yeah, I had a couple of weeks off, which was nice. Caught up with family as much as I could, and then Anastasia closed the border on me again, and I couldn't get up to see Dad on the Gold Coast.
Isn't that disgraceful? Just capricious the way that woman works on this, just conditioning people to accept control. That's all it is. It's just nonsense.
All right, Donald Trump. I'm looking forward to my wine. It's on its way, apparently.
Yes, I ordered it straight after the 6th, so it should be there pretty soon. It was recommended to me by Vic Panisi, the Southern Downs Mayor in Warwick.
Yep.
I don't drink wine. I don't drink spirits. The stiffest thing I have is light beer, but my wife really enjoyed it, so I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. It was a bit of fun. Banning Trump from Twitter and other social media platforms. I mean, Twitter has benefited enormously from Trump using their platform during his presidency. Shares of Apple, Amazon and Alphabet, the parent company of Google, all shed more than 2% on Monday. They will suffer, according to you, by this ban. Yes,
I'm married to an American. I've travelled through all 50 states of America. I've lived and worked there and studied there, and I've worked in 8 states. I get to know them pretty well.
Yeah.
Americans don't like this kind of behaviour from someone acting capriciously. You know, as you said, it's quite right. Twitter has benefited enormously from Trump. And they didn't seem to be bothered with him over the last 4 years, and they don't seem to be bothered with supporting Venezuela's dictatorship, Iran's dictatorship, and Communist China's Communist Party. But now now that we've got a Democrat coming into the White House, they seem suddenly to be concerned about Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, they have protections as an open platform, both Twitter and Facebook, for instance. They're not subjected to the same laws and rules as traditional media, as they claim not to be publishers, but deleting Trump's whole account of tweets is kind of acting as a publisher, is it not?
You're absolutely correct, Marcus. It's akin to book burning. That's what it really is. It's just like burning books. As a publisher, they need to be accountable to the same laws that govern publishers, and that's why Trump was coming after them to make sure they are publishers. But they're acting capriciously, just like the Queensland Premier. We've now heard that there's interference with the Ugandan Facebook and Twitter account holders ahead of the election today. Ugandan accounts have been linked to the incumbent president. They've been removed from Facebook. Social media platforms are taking sides in an election by removing these accounts. It's not the business of social media to decide who is good or bad. Now, some people, Marcus, might say, well, you know, it's a free enterprise society. You can join Twitter. They can kick you off, whatever. If you make a contract with Twitter to use them, then they don't cut you off just before an election, which has been the threat from Twitter and Facebook for quite some time, that they would cut candidates or even parties off their services just before an election at the last minute when they can't do anything about it. And that's exactly what's happening in Uganda, and it's exactly what's happening in America.
All right, well, look, some people say, well, you know, the Murdoch media seem to favour certain political parties, and so why shouldn't social media giants be able to do the same thing?
That's a very good argument. However, as I just said, if you're going to take my material if you as a social media platform are going to take my material for 4 or 5 or 10 years, and then suddenly cut me off before an election, that's not on. Now with Murdoch, I've got a choice. We know that he has favoured the Labor Party at times. We came out very strongly in favour of Rudd. I think he came out strongly in favour of Whitlam, and I know that he's also favoured the Liberal Party at times. But I've got a choice. I don't have to buy the Australian newspaper. I don't have to watch his television stations.
True.
And that's my choice. If I do that, he can. It's like Murdoch's Fox News in America. When they started becoming biased, just like CNN over the U.S. election, reportedly the number of subscriptions that Fox News had plummeted by 50%. So they're now starting to think about, because Americans have said, we've had enough of this bias. So, Marcus, I think if you're paying for a service, you can choose what you want to do. But if I've got an established relationship with someone, then they shouldn't cut me off just before an election because I'm a candidate.
All right, Australia Day not too far away, Malcolm. Some councils seem to be cancelling celebrations, refusing to celebrate the National Day, saying they are in solidarity with Indigenous campaigners. It almost appears like they're, if you like, blaming or hiding behind COVID-19 to justify the cancellation.
Yes, you're right. Some councils are refusing to celebrate the National Day, saying they're in solidarity with Indigenous campaigners, which makes me wonder, because there are many Aboriginals who openly support Australia Day, including some prominent spokespeople, male and female, from the Aboriginal community. So I don't know where they're getting that from. And secondly, some are, as you said, refusing to celebrate and blaming COVID. Greater Sydney councils, including Liverpool, North Sydney, Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown, are still going to have normal citizenship ceremonies, but have cancelled all large gatherings because of COVID. So there's some genuine concern in there as well.
Yeah.
But, it's an Australia Day. We all should come together, especially after this tumultuous year we've had in 2020, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've been through enough. If we are in this together, why can't we celebrate together?
Yeah.
I mean, the division and some of the narrative that seems so negative really isn't needed at this time, and I do get a little frustrated that every year as it rolls around January 26 becomes, a poster, if you like, for people that like to call it Invasion Day, etc. I don't think we have the stomach for it this year, to be honest. No,
I agree with you, mate, and it's usually a beat up from Richard Di Natale when he was in the Senate. He was the one who pushed it. I don't know who's pushing it now. I think it's just become some martyrs within various councils just wanting to make their say. But I agree with you. We need to come united in this country.
All right, now, finally, there's another arbitrary lockdown. We know in Brisbane there are some quite serious concerns of this United Kingdom strain of COVID-19, which is a little more dangerous than the previous ones, for goodness sake. But if individual states are paying for JobKeeper, then you say you bet there will be different decisions. I mean, the drastic and abrupt closures, I don't know, sometimes they are needed, but I mean, at the end of the day, all it's doing is wrecking the economy and ruining plans that people have for weddings and other major events in their lives.
You're absolutely right, Marcus. And what is really important here is that the World Health Organization, which is admittedly corrupt, dishonest, and incompetent, but even it says that lockdowns are a last resort, and lockdowns are used to get control of a virus in the early stages. This basically says that Anastasia Palaszczuk in Queensland is admitting she doesn't have control of the virus, and that's a significant thing, because what we're doing in this country is we're not managing the virus is managing us. One case pops up, one positive test pops up in Brisbane, and we lock down a city of 1.5 to 2 million people in Greater Brisbane. And what happened was that you hit the nail on the head, because we have got to have the economy healthy, because a healthy economy is the only way you're going to get future health, mental health and physical health. So we have had an insane debate in this country. Should we look after health or the economy? The answer is you do both, and the leading countries in the world, Taiwan in particular, is doing both, because you have to protect people's health, but you have to protect the economy to maintain future health, mental and physical. And so we have got a stupid debate going on in this country. It's not economy or health, it's both. And that's how you protect health. And so this really, the Premier was giggling on radio on Monday. I heard her. They were talking about the traffic jams of people flooding out of Brisbane. And the Premier, after destroying small business and destroying families' activities over the weekend, laughed when she said that the Gold Coast had great occupancy. There were traffic jams of people leaving Brisbane. I mean, what's that going to do for spreading the virus if such a thing was the root cause of what she was doing? It's insane.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, COVID will continue its presence. We need more testing, rigorous quarantining and isolation of the sick and vulnerable, and we need to get back to work as well. The New South Wales Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, you say, seems to have been the most measured and pragmatic in response to the complex challenge of managing this pandemic.
I say that. I don't have much time for the New South Wales LNP government, but I think when it comes to managing COVID, they've done the best. But they've still done a poor job by world standards. Let's not kid ourselves. Australia has had over 900 deaths from COVID, and what we've got is a country that's 25 million people. Taiwan has got 24 million people on a densely populated island. Sometimes the population density is 1,000 times what we've got here in Brisbane, for example. And they've had earlier introduction of the virus. They've had longer with it. They've got much more interconnection with the communist China where the virus started in Wuhan. They've had 7 deaths. 7 deaths. And what they've done is they've focused exactly what we were talking about a minute ago. They've focused on the economy and health. And what they've got is they've got a government that is worthy of trust. I've talked to people from Taiwan. They've told me that. The government's not perfect, but at least it involves people. It presents data. These people in New South Wales even though I've said it's the best, are not presenting the data to underpin their plans. And so what we've got, Marcus, is we've got plans all over the country that are completely different. Now, I like the idea of that in the sense that it maintains state sovereignty, but it shows me when there's so much diverse plans that no one's got the data backing up the plans. And people deserve to have that data to know that their leaders are basing those decisions on data.
All right, Malcolm, great to catch up. We'll talk again next week. Appreciate it.
See you, Marcus.
One Nation's Malcolm Roberts. Marcus Paul in the morning.